Oklahoma City, the Oklahoma City Metro. I'm going to throw it over to Brian Mastro at the green screen to talk more about this storm. Brian?
Thanks, JP. Like you said, we do have a confirmed tornado on the ground right now just northeast of Oklahoma City, so still in many of those suburbs area of Oklahoma City. If you are in the path of the storm, please do take shelter immediately. This warning is in effect until 9:15 p.m. Central Time, and it's for the counties of Lincoln and Logan, impacting the cities of Kearney, Falls, and Tryon. This tornado has been on the ground. It was confirmed by the Oklahoma State Highway Patrol, and there's confirmed damage on the ground as well. So if you are in the path of this tornado, please go to an interior room of your house, preferably all the way down to your basement, to take shelter from this storm, please. And we're going to take a closer look at the storm. So we're going to go back into our radar scope here. And we do see here this red box, that is where the tornado warning is. And you do kind of see a little bit of a hook structure right in there. That is actually where the tornado currently is. And we'll go back to one of the things we were looking at earlier, the velocity scans of the radar. Now remember, like we said earlier, the reds and greens is where you're looking at for where they are close together, because that is showing where air is moving in different directions, which is how we get the rotation with these kinds of storms. So we do see kind of right in here, it's not as defined as it was a few minutes ago, but we do still have some rotation within this storm. So there is still potential for this tornado to be on the ground and still causing damage. So please, if you do live in the path of this tornado, do take shelter. Again, as if we go back to the actual green screen here, graphics, we do see Lincoln and Logan counties impacting the cities of Kearney, Falls, and Tryon. Until 9:15 p.m. Central Time is when this warning is in effect till. So please, if you live in the path of this tornado, go to an interior room of your house, go to your basement, take shelter from this tornado. There's a very dangerous situation unfolding just to the northeast of Oklahoma City. And then also on this line, we do have another tornado warning just down here in the south, down in Texas. This is in Cook County in Texas, and this warning is in effect until 9:30 p.m. Central Time, so this warning will be lasting a little bit longer than the warning in Oklahoma. And also multiple cities here, such as Kalispell, Gainesville, and Lindsay, are being impacted by this storm. And then we will go into radar scope for this storm as well as we pull up the radar down there. It's a little bit further away from the radar. This is the velocity scan. You do kind of see a little bit of a couplet in there. It's not as defined as the other one, but there is still a little bit of rotation that we can see in this tornado, as in this potential tornado as well. We haven't received confirmation on this one either, like we did for the Oklahoma tornado. And as we do look at the reflectivity values here, there's not really as much there. It's kind of just on the cusp of that line there, as you can still see where I circled on the velocity scan there. However, there's still, even if there is no tornado on the ground, these are still definitely some very strong winds, and there's still some hail in this storm, as well as some damaging straight line winds as well. And then as we do bring it back up here to the green screen, again, this is where we are looking. This is the Oklahoma tornado. Again, this is the tornado warning in effect until 9:15 p.m. Central Time for Lincoln and Logan counties. Once again, if you do live in the path of this storm, please take shelter in an interior room in your house, in your basement, as soon as possible. Stay safe during this. And now we're going to go actually back over to the desk where we do have some reports from this storm on social media.
Yes, guys. In fact, Anthony here has been monitoring our social media stream to see what the latest is for the storms. Anthony, what do you got?
Right, so I've been monitoring Twitter for all sorts of reports. We don't have any photos of the confirmed tornado. However, we do have lots of reports. If you look at my Twitter feed here, this graphic shows the amount of people around Oklahoma City without power, so that means power lines are down. Also, you can see just a little bit ago, this picture tweeted of the tornado. You can see this very defined hook here, which is a very good signature of a tornado. And it says here on this tweet, as of 9:09 p.m., we are reporting 18,728 customers without power in Oklahoma. So losing power is one of the main problems with this storm tonight.
Yes, Anthony. We will have to keep track of all the outages as they come in across Oklahoma, Kansas, and Texas as these storms continue. Again, so we have these two tornado warnings. We're going to throw it back over to the radar in a few seconds here while they get set up. One of the things I want to remind everybody about is nighttime tornadoes are extremely dangerous. They can kill a lot if you're not underground. So you need to be sure to seek shelter because you won't see them coming. During the daytime, a lot of times people can get the good pictures, which you shouldn't. You should always be underground when a tornado is coming. But anyway, yeah, people try to get the pictures and they don't heed the warnings. and they get injured that way. Well, at night, you can't see them coming. So you definitely need to be underground, regardless of day or night, but especially at night, you need to get these warnings because, again, you won't see them coming. They'll be on top of you before you know it. So going back to the 2 tornado warnings over on the green screen, we're going to talk to Brian and see what these warnings and what these storms are currently doing. Brian, what's the latest?
Yes, JP, I agree, especially on those nighttime tornadoes. They are particularly dangerous, even more dangerous than those ones during the day, simply just because you can't see them coming. And actually here, this tornado warning for just northeast of Oklahoma City is actually expired now. However, they are still under a severe thunderstorm warning, and that will be remaining in effect until 9:30 p.m. Central Time. And also there's a plethora of counties here and cities as well, including Oklahoma City proper is still under this severe thunderstorm warning. So even if the threat of a tornado is still a little bit less there, we do advise you to please take shelter and stay out of harm's way during this storm. However, we will be going back down to the south here where we do still have another tornado warning that is still in place. Also, this is still in place until 9:30 p.m. Central Time in Cook County in Texas. And then once again, we're going to come back over to our radar scope to get up close and personal with this again. This is actually from that same radar. This is up from the one in Oklahoma City, so it's a little bit further away. But if we switch down to the other one, it's still kind of far away, so we can't really get a good read on the velocity from this. But we do see on the reflectivity that there is a little bit of a kink in there. And whenever you see a little bit of a kink like that, that is a sign that there is some rotation in there. So we are pretty certain that there is, in fact, a tornado in there. However, unlike the Oklahoma tornado, this tornado has not been confirmed yet. However, still, if you do live in Cook County, in those cities, especially Callisburg and Gainesville, we do advise you to be taking shelter right now because you are under tornado warning. So like I've mentioned, go to the interior room of your house, go to your basement, just get out of harm's way. Even if there is no tornado, it's better to be safe inside of your basement than if there is a tornado and you don't go anywhere and then it comes over your house. So please do take these warnings seriously. Do take shelter. And as we're going to come back here to the green screen, we do see where the storm is actually tracking. It's going to be continuing to push northeastward. It will be eventually crossing into Oklahoma. So we will be tracking this throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening. So we'll go back over to you guys at the desk with more.
All right, thank you, Brian, for that update. We're all now going to take a look over here at Anthony's social media stream. We are getting the first pictures of damage in and around the Oklahoma City area. What's the latest on the damage, Anthony?
Right, so looking at my Twitter feed here, the first photo I have up is some hail that was reported with this storm. It is pea size, so it's not as dangerous as something like baseball size or ping pong size hail, but still pretty dangerous. Here we have a picture of a downed tree, and it looks like there's a power line pole as well in there. Probably what is causing most of the power outages that is affecting the Oklahoma City area. And the last thing we have to report here is this photo of the Oklahoma City area to the northeast, and these are all damage reports. So it looks like we have some down power lines in here, and this is a very good indication that there in fact was a tornado on the ground because there is a straight line of debris going right through.
All right, thank you for that update, Anthony. We're going to quickly jump back to Brian at the green screen. What's the latest, Brian?
Thanks, guys. We're still looking at this tornado, which, like I mentioned, is still in Cook County, in Callisburg, in Gainesville. And actually, we currently have a live stream. If we go over here, this is actually in Gainesville right now of a chaser on the ground. As we do take a look at this, we do see he's driving down this road, and there are some flashes of lightning. There was just one right there, and you can see that it is heavily raining here in Gainesville, Texas. And we don't actually advise you to be driving on the roads in a tornado, especially in a tornado-warned area, especially at night. Like we mentioned earlier, you can see just how dark it is. So if there is a tornado, you will not see it coming, even if when the lightning flashes that bright. That was an incredible bright display of lightning, which there is so much lightning in this storm right now. And then you can see just how heavy it is raining. And luckily, there aren't too many other cars on the road with him right now as it continues. We're not 100% sure which direction he's actually traveling right now or where he is in relation to the potential tornado on the ground. But we do see the heavy rain in the area, and we do see a lot of lightning as well. Luckily, we're not seeing too much hail in this right now, if any at all. And it appears he is on a major interstate going through northern Texas and right near the Texas-Oklahoma border. And he is continuing to travel, and we do see that heavy rain and frequent lightning, but luckily we don't see him approaching a tornado. But now we do see that there is some more traffic approaching, and he is approaching what appears to be a more populated area up ahead over there on the left. and he's continuing down the road. And so we're still not seeing anything in terms of tornado, and also we're not seeing any damage on the side of the road either, which is very important. So it does not appear that any strong tornado has passed through where he is traveling right now. Is that truck on fire? I'm not sure what's going on there. Hopefully it is not on fire, but it certainly appears to be on the video here. I'm assuming it's just the lights reflecting on the side of the truck through the raindrops. That is not actually on fire. We hope anyway. But now that it's gotten out in front of him, it does appear that thankfully is the case. And there is still a lot of lightning in the area, and there's still heavy rain. And we will keep watching this to see if he does encounter any sort of severe weather. But if you guys have anything else on social media?
Yes, I do have a couple new photos on my page here. So I just have some more pictures of damage. This first one is a wind gust. Let's see, it looks like they don't have a value on the wind yet, but as soon as it loads here, here we go. So this is a video of, you can see this flagpole waving pretty rapidly here back and forth, and it looks like that's a gust. I don't know, where would you say that is, JP? Maybe 45?
It could be 45 miles an hour. These severe thunderstorms can pack winds in excess of 60 and 70 miles an hour. So I would not be surprised if we have 40, 50 plus mile an hour wind gusts with the storms in Oklahoma currently.
We also have this barn type structures which could be sheltering the magnitude of the wind a little bit. This other photo I have here is of a fence that was blown down. This is also in Oklahoma. So typically wind gusts are upwards of 50 miles per hour when that happens. I will be continuing to monitor social media for more pictures and more damage, and get that to you as soon as things come in.
All right, Anthony, thank you for that update. I just real quickly wanted to remind everybody that I'm looking at the street level mapping here in Oklahoma City. There looks to be a lot of traffic on some of the interstates, especially to the northeastern portions of the city where that confirmed tornado was earlier. This would be a good time to remind everyone that under an overpass is not the place to be during a tornado. There's a myth going around that it's safe to be under an overpass. We said this earlier, that is not true. You do not want to be under an overpass during a tornado, and you really don't want to be out on the road. So if you're in your house tonight, stay there, seek shelter if storms come towards you. Now we're going to throw it back over to Brian Mastro at the green screen. Brian, what's the latest?
Yes, guys, we are currently still tracking this tornado warning in Cook County in Texas that will potentially be crossing into the Oklahoma area later on in a few minutes here. However, we do have another feed from another chaser just outside the tornado warning. He's actually located right there, just outside the tornado warning. And if we look here, we see even heavier rain in this one than we did in the other one. And luckily, like you guys mentioned, there was a lot of traffic around the Oklahoma City region. Luckily, once again, there does not seem to be a lot of traffic here down in Cook County in Texas. But really, this rain is incredible. You can barely even see that, combined with the darkness. If there is, in fact, a tornado anywhere near here, it will be impossible to see because this rain is really coming down. It is coming down very hard and very rapidly in Cook County in Texas. Flash flooding might even be a concern later on this evening as this rain just continues to pour down in Cook County in Texas. And he also appears to be driving on what appears to be at least a highway through northern Texas. Luckily, once again, we don't see too much, if anything, in terms of damage on the road. And also, luckily, there's not too many other people on the road. We still see that frequent lightning that is expected with these strong thunderstorms. But now that he's driving under some of these lights on the highway now, we do even just see even more just how heavy that rain is coming down on this guy right now as he continues just to drive through here. And once again, we do not recommend people driving through severe thunderstorms, particularly if there's a tornado warning as well, especially at night, as the roads are quite dangerous. And he's continuing down here. We still see these heavy driving rain. He's left the light a little bit, so you can't see it quite as well here, but you can still see it hitting on his windshield that there is a lot of rain coming down and coming down hard and very quickly. And luckily, not too many other cars on the road. But now, if we bring it back over here to the green screen once again, just to reiterate what we are talking about, we do have this tornado warning for Cook County in Texas, including the cities of Callisburg and Gainesville. The first chaser feed that we had was out of Gainesville itself. This one appears just to be a little bit off to the west, just outside of where the tornado warning actually is. And we do have this tornado warning in effect once again until 9:30 p.m. Central Time. And once again, if you are in the tornado warning area, please do seek shelter immediately. Go to the lowest interior room of your house, preferably a basement. If not, go to an interior closet on the lowest possible floor in your house. Now, as we zoomed out, we do see here this line still very impressive, extending all the way from up near Omaha, Nebraska, all the way down to central Texas. Just an incredible squall line, very large and very robust, with severe warnings extending pretty much the entire length of it from all the way down in central Texas all the way up to the Kansas-Oklahoma border. So a plethora of severe warnings are in effect right now, including that tornado warning down in Cook County in Texas. And then also, if we do move over here to the east, we do have another severe thunderstorm warning that is just in the northern portion of Kentucky. If we do go over there, we will see, there it is, in Scott County, just in northern Kentucky, impacting that area right now, especially the city of Stamping Ground. That is in effect until Tuesday at 10:30 p.m. Now we're in Eastern Time. Just a minute ago, we were in Central Time, so make sure you are aware of your time zone and keeping track of when warnings are expiring. And once again, this isn't as dangerous as the tornado warning that we were just looking at in Oklahoma and in Texas. But once again, if you are under the severe thunderstorm warning, please seek some shelter. You don't want to be outside, especially if there is hail or strong winds at all. So now we're going to go back over to you guys at the desk.
All right. Thank you so much for that update, Brian. I just real quickly wanted to mention on our maps, we have a lot of those yellow boxes, which are severe thunderstorm warnings, but what you don't see on all of them are the green boxes, which are flash flood warnings. We currently do have a lot of those out, especially across parts of Kansas. Wichita is currently under a flash flood warning, and also parts of Oklahoma near Lawton. So just keep that in mind, that after the strongest part of the storm passes, there still will be a flood threat. Now, we're going to take a look back at the radar, because the National Weather Service office in Norman, Oklahoma, has stated that if you are located behind the line of the strongest storms, so that would be west of the strongest storms that have already gone through most of Oklahoma City and are moving towards Dallas, if you're behind that line or to the west of it, you are in the all clear, which means we aren't expecting any more convection or any more storms, especially strong ones to severe, to occur behind that line. So just keep that in mind. If you are behind the storms, you are in the all clear. Now we're going to throw it back over to Anthony with the latest on power outages and social media. Anthony?
Right, thank you. So it looks like we have now over 28,000 people without power. Something that's really important is that these power lines are obviously down everywhere, and if you're driving or if you're walking, do not approach the wires because they could still be live, and it's very dangerous. You could get a lot of damage to yourself if you go near those wires. Looking on my Twitter feed, I have another picture of some fences that have blown down. Again, these winds were very high, and there's a lot of damage around the Oklahoma City area. So again, there's a lot of traffic. JP was mentioning earlier. Just be careful around down power lines. And I will continue to monitor for more damage pictures. And it looks like I just got another one in just now. If you look back at my Twitter feed, we can see trees down on this highway. So again, just be very careful driving tonight. If you don't have to go out, don't go out. Just stay in and shelter and wait until tomorrow.
Well put, Anthony. Yeah, especially with these nighttime storms and nighttime tornadoes, when the damage occurs and power gets knocked out, it's hard to see. Even in a car with headlights, it can still be hard to see what lies on the road ahead. So again, if you're at home tonight, stay there, especially if you live in parts of Oklahoma that have not been hit by these storms yet, because they could be moving your way in the near future. We're going to throw it back over now to Brian Mastro at the green screen with the latest on the radar. Brian, what are you seeing right now?
Once again, we do have that tornado warning for Cook County. That is the big thing that we are tracking right now. That is still in effect until 9:30 p.m. Central Time. Once again, for those cities of Callisburg and Gainesville. So please, if you are in that warning area, once again, please go to the lowest floor interior room of your house, preferably a basement. If you don't have a basement, preferably a closet on the lowest floor of your house, because being safe is better than any alternative. And then this is the main thing that we are tracking right now. We do have a plethora of other severe thunderstorm warnings across the rest of this line. As we do zoom out, we will see that this line extends all the way from central Texas into southern Nebraska. So just a massive squall line has set up across the plains area. And some of these are actually approaching major metropolitan areas such as Dallas right now. And actually, just north of Dallas, the New York Yankees and Texas Rangers are currently playing. So hopefully they are monitoring the weather situation right now in case of any delay. I know that game was getting towards the end, so hopefully they can even finish it before that line hits and get everybody out of the stadium, because even though there isn't a tornado in this line, that is still a very dangerous situation, especially with that many people in one space. So hopefully they are able to get everybody to safety, because these are still potentially some hail in there and definitely some strong straight line winds. And then as we zoom back out to see the broad overview of this massive squall line, once again extending all the way from central Texas up into southern Nebraska, and its severe warnings extending all the way from central Texas to the Kansas-Oklahoma border. And then there's another one up near Wichita, another populated area, and then also up towards Omaha as well. And then this storm in particular, severe thunderstorm warning in effect. That storm looks quite robust there. Definitely some hail within that storm for the counties of Anderson and Franklin up in Kansas. Now we're going to go back over to you guys at the desk.
Okay, thank you, Brian. It looks like most of the tornado warnings have started to die down here. We're just left with a few severe thunderstorm warnings. But before we leave you, we do want to show you one more thing. Anthony has a video of what could have been a possible tornado earlier tonight. Anthony?
Right, so if you look at my Twitter feed here, I'm going to full screen this for you guys. You can see during the video there are lightning flashes, and there is something, it could be a tornado, possibly a funnel cloud, something kind of right in this general area here. If you can kind of see an outline, it's, again, very hard to spot tornadoes in the dark at night because you can't see them. You can only tell when the lightning flashes. But you can see during this video that there is something interesting in there. It could be a tornado. We're not sure. It's unconfirmed. But it is an interesting feature, especially when the lightning flashes.
Okay, thank you so much, Anthony. There are no more tornado warnings currently active on any portion of the United States, along with these severe thunderstorm warnings. So just keep in mind that severe weather is not over yet, but when night falls, we generally start to see the strongest storms start to die down. So stay safe out there. Keep an eye to the sky and keep an eye to your local media and your local social media feeds for the latest about these storms. From all of us here at the Campus Weather Service, Brian, myself, Anthony, and everyone working behind the scenes, Amanda, Marissa, and Hunter, we thank you for tuning in. Stay safe and have a great night.